Okay students, welcome to our civics second lesson. What is democracy and why democracy? We were talking about it is as we are in a democratic country, we always look into, we are supposed to understand what is democracy and why democracy. So we always look into this matters till this is the first lesson we are starting in the 9th standard. From here our tour to democracy starts. And this tour towards democracy ends at the end of your 10th standard last lesson. So today we shall be talking about what exactly is this democracy. You might have learned about it in 8th standard. It is the simple definition you might have, like it is by the people, for the people and of the people. This is the definition you have learned. But now we are into little higher standards. We want to go into the technical form and say what exactly is this democracy. Is it really, when you talk about this definition, you are getting the whole of the information what you want regarding the democracy? Not exactly. Let us go into the simple definition of democracy here. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Now, do you think this definition is giving you little more clear sense than this definition? Right? So, we shall be now from now onwards a 9th standard. Whenever the question goes on with what is democracy, you are supposed to answer this. What is democracy? It is a form of government. And what kind of government is it? It is through the elections, the representatives on the behalf of the people come here and govern the country. This is the simple definition you have to, and this is not to be used from now on. This of course is there, it is not wrong, but from now on you have to go with this definition. After this one, we shall be going into what are the features of democracy. What exactly do we understand? What are the features, what should be there inside, so that we understand, oh, this is democracy. And in every, here we have 3 features, in every feature we have one example. Going into the details of the example, we come to understand what exactly these are. You have to, whenever the question is asked, what are the features of, you have to write these 3 and get the star marks here, the explanatory part, so that this one goes off for your 3 marks explanation. First one, the first feature of democracy is major decisions by the elected leaders. Here we said it is, we have the elected representatives. The same way, the decisions should be made. Why are we putting these elected representatives on the seat and what are we expecting from them? We are expecting they are taking the decisions on our behalf. So this is the first point. The final decision should be taken by the elected leaders only. So the leaders, we are having a trust on them. The leaders are supposed to take the decisions on the behalf of the people of the country. So here we have an example of Pakistan. In Pakistan, Parvez Musharraf, he was the military general of the country. And the democracy, it was a democratic country, Pakistan. In 1947, we both had their independence, India as well as Pakistan. And from there on, it was going on. But the democracy of Pakistan was little weaker. Where Parvez Musharraf, the military general, he was little stronger. He took up the charge and he went off with the military coup. Means he has taken up the charge using the whole of the military people and he overthrew the elected representatives and took the charge onto the seat of the country. And he started ruling, and this has taken place in the year 1999. So the people were thrown out, all the democracy was thrown out, and it started to go on with the military rule. He was the military general and he has declared himself to be the chief executive of the country and he started taking the decisions of the country. Where it is not at all a democracy, but still it is under the democracy only. He gives the explanation that way. We are a democratic country and I shall be going with the ruling of the country. So this way, and in 2002, he gave up a referendum. What's referendum? It's a legal document given to the public saying that this is how we are going to rule. In that referendum, he has declared himself to be the president of the country and the lower people will be going with the election. He is not involved into the election. When he is not involved, the authority is not involved and the lower people are involved in the election, it is also not considered to be the democratic country. Now, here, we are talking about the major decisions. So whatever these elected people, they are going with any of the charges they are going, but the final decision will be in the hands of Pervez Musharraf and his military officers. So whatever the area he was holding or whatever the things he was doing, that was undemocratic way. So here the final decision making power rests with those elected by the people. Then only it can be called as democracy, or else that country is non-democratic country. We can have any form in that, like it is non-democratic country के अंदर क्या आता है? It is military form, it is dictatorship, it can be anything else there. So here the final decision making power should be in the hands of the elected representative. Pervez Musharraf is not an elected representative. So he is taking the decision, so the country is considered to be non-democratic here. Let us go with the second feature, free and fair electoral competition. In this, we shall be going with the example of China. As we know that China is not a democratic country. It is considered to be a communist country. Now what is the difference between a democratic country and a communist country? Is China not having the elections? Of course it is having. Everywhere it has, after every 5 years, a regular elections have been conducted there. But the problem there is, as in India, we also have after every 5 years the elections have been conducted, but we have the independent candidates being participating here. We get enrolled under different kind of our parties. We are given the freedom of speech here. But still, freedom of speech and expression. But still, it is in China, whoever want to get elected, they should get approval from the Chinese Communist Party. Only one party they have. So it is called, it is one party system, the Communist Party, one community is only held there. Whoever want to participate into the election, they should get enrolled into that and then get the approval, and then they can participate, and they don't have their individual ideas, and any kind of creativity is allowed. Whatever, they are just for namesake, they are the leaders there. If they get the majority of the votes, they become the leader there, and it is just for the sake of leader as getting a name of the representative there, but rather his own ideas will not work out. And whatever the party thinks of, the philosophy of the party, it is the same always. Whoever the candidate comes into, the philosophy of the party doesn't change. So he has to follow the philosophy of the same, and he has to work. It is, the elections are conducted, but his own creativity or his own ideas are not allowed there. So that goes with the, so here the free and fairness is not given. In our country, the free and fair electoral competition, we are given a chance to go with the voting. We have one rule there, that we should be the citizens of the country, we should be above 18, and we should not have any criminal background. Then they are allowed to go for voting. The same thing is there, only one thing changes, 18 becomes 25, means we have the right to participate in the election now. We can go for, we can nominate our name into the election, and we can be the other side now. We were that side going with the voting system. We were voting to someone. But when we come this side, we can even get the votes. So we should be the citizens of the country, and we should not have the criminal background as well. So that free and fair should be there, where in China that is not there. So it is considered as non-democratic country. We have one more example here. It is Mexico. Mexico in 1930 it got independence. It was an independent country, it was a democratic country. But here the tragic of this country is we have one party, that is PRI, Institutional Revolutionary Party. So this PRI, right from 1930, it was continuously, it was having 6 years election, continuously the regular elections were going on. Everything was as the democratic country was going on, the same way it also was going on. But the part is, only PRI wins the election, and that is till 2000. Just imagine, last 70 years, only one party is winning the election. Do you think it is really that very good? The people are just voting for that? Or can you smell something else different going on in the country or with the party? Yes, exactly. The party was involved into dirty tricks. Like it is to shift off the polling booth from the area. It used to go with very harsh rules, like it is putting compulsion onto the government school teachers were putting compulsion onto the parents, asking them to go for voting only for PRI. Such kind of things it started getting involved into, and slowly the revolts come in, and that is a different kind of condition. But here we are supposed to see in the sense of your democracy how this country behaves. It's one party becomes so very dominant, prominent, that it only keeps on working and it wants to be the higher authority, and the oppositions were there, but still they were not allowed to come into the party, and they were so very weaker. The oppositions were becoming weaker and weaker. This also is not a democratic form, means it is not following the democracy rules properly. That is what free and fair electoral competition. It's not free and fair. In free and fair, what happens? Whoever is there, they should be free. It should be free, and it should be like the person who wins, the next time that party should be in a fair form of losing as well. See the point here. Elections where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. This year, this term, this tenure, you are winning the election. Next tenure, you can lose the election. It is not compulsion that always you only have to win the election. That is your free and fair. In any of the games also, once you win the game, next time you lose the game, and you accept it. When you are accepting it, and again you are making a trial for the next year or the next tenure, and you can win or you may lose. It can happen both the ways. So that is your free and fair electoral competition. You are in the competition, strive to that and see that you are winning. But you cannot play the dirty tricks there. The third one is rule of law and respect for rights. We are going with the example of Zimbabwe. Here, the Zimbabwe was independent in 1980, and here also we have the same problem as we had in the Mexico. And from there, here we have the party, it is ZANU-PF, which was headed by Robert Mugabe. And the party right from 1980, it started winning the elections. There also the elections were at the regular form, 5 years after every 5 years. Regular elections were done, and always it had the unfair practices. Many of the unfair practices were going on. And the constitution was changed several times, and the power was given to the president, and they were not allowed, other elected representatives or the opposition was not allowed to go with any of the their decisions. The president was given the maximum power, and he was not accountable to the public. What is this accountability? It is answerable. Whenever we have these representatives, they are answerable to the people. We are electing them, they are on behalf of standing on the chair, sitting on the chair, and they are answerable. Whenever we have a problem, they should react, respond to, and they are answerable. And in these laws, whatever the constitution, he has made the changes and all, he has made himself to be the less accountable person. He is not responding to the public. Public protests were totally illegal. The public was not allowed to go with protest. As this expression, the right to speech and expression was totally denied. TVs and radios, they were not allowed, the censor board was put into, and they were not allowed to go with whatever was right, they were not allowed to show that one. Rather, it was always whatever the party wanted, only that one could be projected. Government would harass the newspaper, which actually went on with their own views, or they wanted to publish something, the government used to harass them. The judges were pressurized. Even the judge was not given the priority or work according to the constitution. Rather, they were pressurized. Whatever the judgment they wanted, they used to pressurize the judge and get conviction accordingly. So the third one says that the government rules within limits set by the constitutional laws and the citizens' rights. The government has to concentrate on the constitution first. The constitution laws should be followed. Any of the constitution law should not be ignored, denied, or violated. The citizens' rights should be taken into consideration. As we have the fundamental rights in the country, our democracy gives us the fundamental rights. They are safe. Everything should be followed. If it is not followed, again this rule is kept into the features of, if any such kind of violation goes on, definitely that is not considered to be a democratic country. They got the independence, they are into the democratic forms, but still they are violating this particular features are being violated. Minimum, these 3 features should be followed. Where these 3 features are being violated by some or the other country.